lot of people have this belief that med school should be all about books. You go, you study, and you study until you die, and then you study some more even after death. Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Natalie Caitlin and my channel name is TheStylishMed. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, please do subscribe to my channel and join the family, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back again. In today's video, I want to finally be answering a question that I get asked a lot, and that is, how was I a good medical student? How was I good in med school? How did I excel in med school? And so forth and so forth and so forth. I get this question asked a lot, and I never really have just one specific answer, so I decided to put everything that I used to do into a video, and I finally come to you guys with a response. So for those of you that don't know, I recently graduated from med school. I graduated as a 7-time scholarship winner, top 10 student, top 100 student, plus other things in between. And in pretty much every semester of school, I did have the highest scores in some of my courses. I also had the highest score in one of my graduation exams, and yeah, it didn't come easy. It didn't come from just sleeping and waking up and going to class every day. There were things that I did, and then there was also, like, obviously just the grace of God, you guys, because sometimes I don't even know how I managed to pull it through, but I did. And so I've compiled my list of things that I suggest and things I advise and things that I actually used to do, things that helped me throughout med school, things that I swear by and I feel would help you guys as well. So if you're interested, keep watching and let's get right into it. Number one, that goes without saying, planning. You guys already know me. I am queen of planning, queen of being organized and just having your life in order. Like, I swear by planning and just being organized, tracking and planning all aspects of your life. And so it goes without saying, obviously in med school I had to be really organized. I had to be, I had to plan out my days, plan out my weeks, my months, my years, everything. And so I was that person that planned literally every aspect of my life. On a Sundays were for planning, okay? I'd wake up on a Sunday and plan my week, make my meals, do my meal planning and make the meals, plan my outfits so that I don't have to wake up extra early in the morning, and I have more time to sleep if I want to sleep in, or if I want to study in the morning, I don't have to worry about cutting my study session by 30 minutes so I can find something to wear to class. No, on a Sunday, all my outfits for the week were already set and arranged in the closet at the front so that I just have to go and grab it, put on and go to class. Okay, I used to plan my study sessions, my study locations, my study, everything that happened in my life. Essentially, I would plan it. And I used to use my own planners because I'm also that person that I can't, like, I used to buy a lot of planners and diaries and journals, whatever, and like at the beginning of the year, you buy a calendar and a diary, but you use it for like 2 weeks and then you stop using it because I never felt like it was customized for my needs or like personalized for what I needed it for. And that's how I started bullet journaling. If you haven't watched my bullet journaling video, I will leave it here. It is from a few years ago, but that's what I was doing in med school. And then towards the end of med school is when I actually started digital journaling, and I recently launched my own planner line called Flourish by yours truly, TheStylishMed. So if you want to get your hands on my planners that are super personalized and super customizable for you and your needs, definitely do check those out. I actually recently launched a student planner bundle, and what that is essentially it's a bundle of over 30 planners that you can choose what you need from that and make it into your own planner and use it for your needs, like for every aspect of your life, your routines, your lifestyle, your fitness, your health, your money, your habits, your studies, everything. And so that really helped me throughout school. Planning was something that I really swore by because it's very easy in med school to be so stressed out and you know, just have a lot of things to do and trying to keep it all on your mind, and sometimes end up forgetting things and then you realize it's too late. So at least if you have a planner that's like well customized for you and your needs, you have everything that you need to do set out in front of you, and you don't have to worry about deadlines and, you know, everything. And you can also plan your time easier. And when I feel like when you've planned your life out and you're organized, you feel like you're on top of your game, and you can clearly see that this is my time to study, this is my time to rest, this is my time to do this is my time to do that, and it really goes a long way in helping you throughout your med school years. Number 2, know exactly what's required of you at the beginning of every semester. Do you know your course outline? Do you know your subject list? And in your subjects and your courses, do you know what exactly is required of you in those courses? Do you know what topics you want to be doing in that subject that semester? You know the main points and the key points and the most frequently asked questions, the important definitions and formulas and whatnot of that specific topic that you're studying, that specific subject that you're doing. Because I know, especially if you're studying abroad, like you're studying in China and Russia, it's very easy to just, you know, go by each semester, just read whatever's given to you, and then when you go back home or when you start working, it's a big shock to see how much you don't know, even though you thought you knew something. And with that said, it's really important that you create your study plan based on your course outline and the things that are important for your studies. If you guys want tips on how to make your study plan, I have a video over here that I did show you guys how I make my study planners, and I also have a video on here where I showed you guys how I actually study in med school. So if you've been wondering how to go about setting up your studies, how to study and all that, definitely do check these videos out, and yeah, you'll be able to see how I did it. Number 3, always have your books and your study materials ready in advance. What I mean by that is, don't start looking for your books and your study materials 2 weeks before the exam. That makes no sense. What you want to do is at the beginning of every semester, and I think I've already said this in another video, if you haven't watched my things you need to do at the beginning of every semester video, definitely do go and check it out. I feel like I am just plugging myself in this video, but anyway. Yeah, I really like a lot of the questions that I get asked from time to time and daily actually are things that I've already answered or things that I already have on my channel, and I don't know, maybe you guys haven't seen them or I don't know what happens, but anyway, yeah, at the beginning of every semester you really want to make sure that you have all your books and all your study resources and materials ready. What I used to do was, before the semester, like a week or 2 before the semester, because I already know what subjects I have coming up that semester, I'd actually go to the library and borrow all the books that I need, and then if it so happens that the professor or the teachers have their own recommendations of books, I also go and add those, or I replace them with the ones that I already gotten or something. But one thing that's really important is to start looking for your resources from the get-go, so that when it's time to study, you already have what you need to study. Okay, you don't need to now start looking for books. Now you're asking people, oh, what book should I get for this, what book should I get for that? Also, if you don't know what books you need for different courses on medicine, I have a playlist that I'm always talking about. I did a playlist of videos for every single subject in med school, so books for those and resources for those subjects, so you can definitely go and check that out here as well. Yeah, so if you don't know what books you need to use for which modules, I've got you covered. And so not just knowing, you know, having your books and your resources ready at the beginning of every semester, but you also need your plan Bs. Like, you have your fallbacks in case sometimes maybe your teacher, you feel like he's not that good, or he's not explaining things in a way that you understand, or your books aren't making sense to you. Do you have a plan B? Like, what's your go-to after you fail to understand something? Do you just go sleep and say, oh, woe is me, oh, I feel sorry for myself, and, you know, just wallow in your sorrows? Or do you actually have a plan B, a quick fix it for things that you don't understand? For me, my saving grace was Dr. Najib. Like, when I didn't understand anything, you guys, I probably see Dr. Najib's videos. They are super long, but they are so simple and easy to understand, and that's why they're so long, because he really makes it a point to help you understand from the very basics of it, that by the time you're done with the video, you actually feel like you can teach that concept to someone else, even though when you started the video, you felt like you didn't know anything. So I definitely recommend Dr. Najib, TheStylishMed as well. I actually might be collaborating with them on something real soon, but TheStylishMed has really good concise videos that will really help you and help you understand if maybe you don't want to spend as much time as on a Dr. Najib video. And then some people recommend Acturio, but I've never really used it. I think I discovered it a bit too late. And yeah, so those two are my recommendations if you're really struggling to get a concept and things are just not making sense to you. Number 4 is to be proactive. Okay, there's no need for you to go through med school sleeping and waking up in each day. Whatever the spirit moves you to do is what you do. Don't do that. That is number 1 quickest, easiest way to fail your way through med school. You want to be proactive from day 1. Start studying, even if you're not studying like 5 topics a day, of which I don't even recommend studying 5 topics a day. I recommend doing small bits and pieces of studying each day that will actually eventually amount to a lot of knowledge. So what I used to do is from the very first day, because again I've already gotten my books from the library before schools open, right? So on the very first day, whatever we learned in class, I'm already reviewing that and studying that at night. And by the time week 4 or week 5 comes, I feel like I'm up to date. I feel like I'm not lagging behind, because I know a lot of people start school, they use up the first 2 weeks, kind of get into things. By week 4 they feel like they're behind. It's because you spent the first 2 weeks of the semester not doing anything, and then life kind of just like went by quickly and it just passed you like that. So if you start doing bits and pieces at the beginning of the semester and work your way up and add more and build on to that, you'll be good. You won't feel swamped. You won't feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do and I don't have enough time. You will feel like you're on top of the game, and when you feel like you're on top of the game and you're on top of things, you're actually motivated to keep going. And not even just like studying, like assignments, your projects and everything. Don't be that person that starts doing an assignment the night before it's due. When you get an assignment, start researching about it on the first day. Plan how you're going to do your assignment. Like, plan your action steps. If you're going to do like 2 parts of it a day for 2 weeks, that's fine. It's better than doing all of it the night before and then you end up just submitting for submitting instead of actually submitting good quality work. And I know a lot of you are at schools where your coursework, your assignments and all that, they actually contribute to your final mark. So you really want to take those seriously. You really want to take your time with them. You don't want to do that just the night before it's due. And if you need help with that, again, I also have an assignment tracker in the student planner bundle. So the assignment tracker and the grades trackers, they really help you plan out your assignments. You can schedule steps for each day. You can schedule your group assignments as well. You can have a help center where when you're struggling with the concept, you jot it down and then you start creating a plan on how you're going to end up understanding that concept. So again, do make sure you get your hands on the student planner bundle, which I actually still have on my site. It's only $10 and I feel like it's really effective because we can use this for the whole year. So $10 is not really much. And yeah, so number 5 is to make sure that you have a designated study area, study location, study place. I don't understand how you feel like you might be able to go through without ever having a study space. Like, medicine is all about studying, guys. You need to have a place where you feel like you can study and you can study conducively, because a lot of us sometimes, even like myself included, I would be at a desk somewhere studying and I'm saying I'm studying, but I'm not really doing anything. I'm just there whiling up time. Things are going in here and coming out the other side. And so you really want to make sure that you have a designated workspace, maybe even 3 that are really conducive, where when you sit there, it's right time, things are flowing, your brain juices are cooperating with you, everything is going smoothly. So what I did is I lived in the dorm, obviously, and I lived alone, so it wasn't really hard to create a study space. But even if you have a roommate and you feel like sometimes it's really hard to study there, maybe you just need to like revamp your study corner in your room, like your little section of the room, revamp that and make it pretty. If you have to like cut off the room and divide it into 2, do that. Do whatever it takes to make you feel like, okay, this is conducive for me to study. So when I lived in an apartment, I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and so I actually turned the other room into my study room, my work room. And so whenever I was there, that was like grind time. And sometimes staying in one place all the time can become a bit boring and you just start getting distracted there because you've been there maybe for too long. So what I used to do is I ended up having 3 different study locations. I had my room, and then I had my favorite coffee shop, and in that coffee shop I had like 2 different locations in that coffee shop where I used to like to study, and then I also had my different study locations in the library as well. So what I used to do is in the morning I'd wake up and study in my room. After class I'd go and study at a coffee shop, and in between classes I'd go and study at the library. So I'm studying in different places, and even being conducive in all those three places, because I'm in a different place, so my brain feels like, okay, new place, new setup, let's do this, let's go. But if every single time you have to study, you're studying in just one place, that might be a bit overwhelming, it might be a bit boring, and it might get a bit redundant, and you just feel like, okay, this is not for me, I don't feel like studying, and then that's how you get distracted and demotivated and don't feel like studying anymore. So tip number 6 is to know yourself. This is so important. I feel like this might be one of the most important of the things that I want to say in this video, because if you know yourself, then you can create your study plan suited for yourself. And what I mean by know yourself is be honest with yourself. Sit down and analyze yourself. Are you a person that needs to read something 25 times before it finally gets in here? Are you a person who can just skim over something, read it once, and it remains with you forever? I know I'm definitely a person who has to read something a couple of times before it finally like registers and sticks in here. And even then, I have to like do questions. I have to watch videos. I have to read it again. I have to write notes. I have to write nice notes. I don't have to just write nonsense. I have to write like proper notes and then write those notes again, and then summarize those notes and then read those notes like 5 times, and then do questions after reading those notes. Like, it takes me a lot and a while before I finally understand something like really well, to the point where I feel like, okay, I'm ready for the exam. And some people can just read something once and that's it, it sticks with them. So know yourself. If you know who you are and know how you understand things, know how things, you know, stay in your brain, then you can actually create your study plan suited to you. If you know you're a person like me who needs to read something a couple of times, you have no business starting to study the day before exams, because that is not going to work. You need to start studying early. But if you're a person who knows that I just read one time and I'm done, then good for you. You can start studying the day before exams. I don't know how it works for you. If you know that you have to write notes 5 times, set time for writing those notes, and then set time for reading those notes, and then set time for summarizing those notes. And this all happens if you're planning and being organized and being proactive, like I've already said in you know, the earlier points of this video. There's no worse feeling than the day before an exam, or even hours before an exam, you start realizing that, oh my gosh, I don't really know this as well as I thought I did. I didn't make notes on this. Now you're just there cramming, reading as much as you can, trying to, you know, retain as much information as you can. And then when the exam comes, a question comes that you know you could have answered if you had just read a little bit more, and then you feel like depressed and sad and all that. So it's really important that you set your time in advance and set time for you to allow yourself to go through the steps that you need to go to before you finally understand something. And with that, number 7 is also really important to know your strengths and your weaknesses. What kind of content do you struggle you know, getting to understand? What kind of content do you find it easier to understand? Obviously, what you want to do is spend more time on the things that are harder for you to understand, and spend less time on the things that are easier for you to understand. And we're almost done. Step number 8 is to never get comfortable. This is something that I feel like is one of the reasons that I managed to do so well throughout my med school years, is that I never ever allowed myself to get comfortable. If I got a 70% this semester, next semester I wanted to get a 75 as an average. If my average next semester was 80, the next time I wanted it to be 85. If I got 85, I wanted it to be 95. And if it was 95, I wanted it to be 100. Like, that's exactly what I mean. Like, always aim higher. Don't, like, if you set a goal at the beginning of the semester and then you achieve that goal, don't be like, okay, that's it, I've made it in life, and then start sitting and start chilling and feeling yourself. Okay, you need to keep pushing yourself. You need to keep aiming higher, keep working harder, because the harder you work, the easier things become. And before you know it, you are just smooth sailing throughout med school, and it's such a smooth journey for you, and you won't even realize it's happening when you're studying, because you have that goal in your mind that you want to get this score, you want to get to do this for this subject. When you're studying, you also put the effort that's needed to get that grade. When you don't have a goal, when you don't have any standard that you set for yourself, you just kind of sit and study, and just whatever comes. If you get 60, you get a 60. If you get a 70, you get a 70. But if you've told yourself that, okay, no, I want a 90%, you're not going to sit and read for 2 minutes and go. You're going to sit and read until you feel like, okay, what I've studied is worth a 90. And with this point as well, it's really important to stay in your own lane. I know med school can be really competitive, and people tend to like actually get lost in competing with their classmates, competing with your seniors and whatnot, trying to beat people's scores and all that. But I was never that person that even used to ask people like, what did you get, I didn't care. I only cared what I got. All through med school, even when it was time to like apply for scholarships and all that, people would be asking me, oh, what's your average, oh, what's this, or what's that, and I never bothered to answer, like, because I didn't care what you got, I cared what I got. And if my average this time was this, I know that the next time I wanted it to be higher. And I feel like when you compete with yourself, that's a good standard to compete with, because other people's standards and other people's goals are not your goals. So you need to compete with yourself, compete with your goals, and aim higher and do better for yourself and not for others. And so the second last point, step number 9, is that you want to strike a balance. I know a lot of people have this belief that med school should be all about books. You go, you study, and you study until you die, and then you study some more even after death. Like, med school should not be like that. I feel like that is the biggest reason why people are depressed in med school. That is the biggest reason why people suffer and don't enjoy their medical school experience. If you set yourself up in such a way that you've planned your life, you've organized your studies and everything, you definitely will have time for the things that you love. And I feel like it's really important actually to set time for the things that you love doing. Find something that you enjoy doing, set time for it. You know, that thing will be your stress reliever. It will be what takes you off the pain and the burden of med school, and it'll be what keeps you going sometimes. I feel like it's really important to remember that you're a person before you're a medical student. You're a person before you're a doctor. You need to take care of yourself. You cannot get good grades if you are, you know, stressed, your mental health isn't going well. At some point you'll just be like, screw this, and you'll stop studying completely, and you don't want to reach that point. You want to strike a balance. You need to find something that can take your mind off things, something that can just relax you, distress you, relieve you of your worries. And so finally, the last point is to study smart, not study hard. A lot of people just go and they study, they kill themselves with studying, but they're not really doing anything. They're just there wasting their time. You want to study smart. What that means is, like, this is just a summary of everything that I've said basically. Study smart. Study and spend most of your time on the things that you know you find hard. Don't spend 24 hours of your day, your entire day, studying something that you know is easy for you to understand. Use your time wisely. Use your time to, you know, catch up with what you don't know, catch up with the things that are important. Don't spend 5 hours studying things that will only make this much of the exam, and then spend 30 minutes on things that will make this much of the exam. You need to be smart and, you know, think, okay, how should I use my time? What's important? What isn't important? What do I really need to study? What can I just cram and forget later? What, you know, you need to really be smart about it. And like, there were exams where I didn't sleep the night before, and there were exams where I had 12 hours of sleep before the exam, and I was so well rested. And you need to find that balance. You need to, you know, not every exam is for cramming and staying up all night. Some exams you need to sleep before, because you know you've done your part and you know everything else is in God's hands. You need to get to a point where you feel like, okay, this is what I know, this is what I should know, and this is what I don't need to know. Not where everything is just a mumbo jumbo there in your head and you're just scrambling for information the last minute. So if you plan your student life and your studies effectively, this should be no problem for you. This should come easy. You know what's required of you. You know what's hard for you. You know what you're good at. You know how you study, what takes your time and what doesn't take your time. And so this can help you actually create a smart study planner. It's really important, again, that you start studying like weeks, months before your exams, and like really studying, like going in depth. And then as you get closer to the date, you just start doing revision, start doing summaries. And like the week of the exams, you're just doing revision questions, you know, testing your knowledge, seeing if you actually remember what you studied, and what you don't remember, you go and read that again. And that's how I used to do my studies. And if you guys want like a detailed, like really in-depth video on how to study for exams in med school and how I studied for my exams in med school, how I passed my exams in med school, do leave a comment and let me know, and I'll be sure to do that. But yeah, so I hope these tips and tricks and whatnots will help you guys and have you on your journey to being a good medical student and excel in med school like I did. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.